Hello again. It's me, Miso. If you're listening right now, I hope you're somewhere quiet. Maybe you're lying down or sitting by the window with soft light on your face. Take a deep breath for me. In and out. You see, that's where every cat's day begins, with stillness. Before movement, before curiosity, before anything else, we rest. Humans often say that cats sleep too much. You watch us doze through the day, on the couch, in the corner, under the sun, and you wonder, how can something sleep this much and still be okay? But here's the secret. We're not escaping life. We're entering it more deeply. To a cat, sleep isn't laziness, it's connection. It's a return to rhythm, to breath, to balance, to the quiet pulse that moves beneath all things. When I close my eyes, I'm not disappearing. I'm listening to the hum of the room, to the wind outside, to the slow, gentle heartbeat of the world itself. Humans treat rest like a reward. You say, I'll rest after this, or I'll sleep when I have time. You chase exhaustion like an achievement. But cats, we rest because it's necessary. We rest because life isn't meant to be constant motion. Even the sun sleeps. Even the sea pauses between waves. When I curl up into a soft ball of fur, I'm not ignoring the world. I'm joining it in its most natural, peaceful rhythm. You think we sleep because we're tired. Sometimes that's true. But often, we sleep because we can, because we trust. A cat only sleeps deeply where she feels safe. You'll never see a cat resting in danger. So when I fall asleep beside you, it means I've given you something rare. My trust, my surrender, my silence. Maybe that's what humans struggle with the most, trusting stillness. You fill every quiet moment with sound, every pause with distraction. You scroll, you plan, you think, you fix. But the heart doesn't always need fixing. It just needs resting. Cats don't measure the worth of a day by how much we've done. We measure it by how deeply we've been. Sometimes I wake just to stretch, to move my paws a little, to blink at the sunlight that's moved across the floor. And then I go back to sleep. Not out of boredom, but because the world feels soft again. That's enough. Humans might call it doing nothing, but nothing is where everything important begins. Dreams are born in stillness. Healing happens in rest. Even ideas, the ones that come to you suddenly in the shower or just before sleep, they rise from the quiet parts of your mind, the places you stop trying to control. That's why cats sleep so much, because we trust the quiet more than we trust the rush. You live in a world that praises the noise of achievement, but not the silence of recovery. You admire those who stay up late, who grind, who never stop. But what about those who pause, who breathe, who say, I need a moment? They are the ones who hear life most clearly. When I sleep, I travel, not in miles, but in meaning. I drift through memories of sunbeams, of hands that once petted me, of the feeling of rain on the roof. Cats don't dream in pictures. We dream in warmth. Sometimes I dream of nothing at all, just floating in silence, it feels like peace, and peace feels like coming home. You chase rest as if it's a luxury, but rest is a language. The world whispers it to you every evening. The sky darkens, the air cools, the birds quiet, even the leaves stop moving. Everything tells you it's time to slow down, but you resist. Humans resist rest because you think stopping means losing, but what if it means returning? Returning to balance, to clarity, to yourself. I wish you could see sleep the way I do, not as the end of the day, but as a continuation of it. Sleep isn't separation, it's participation in a quieter world. When I sleep beside you, I can feel your thoughts even before you settle down. You toss, you sigh, you reach for your phone, and I wait, because I know eventually the stillness will find you, and when it does, I'll purr softly to tell you it's okay, you can rest now. You don't need to earn your peace. You already deserve it. If you could live like a cat for just one day, if you could nap without guilt, sit in sunlight without rushing, breathe without planning, you'd realize how little you need to feel complete. That's why we look so content when we sleep. Because in our dreams, there's no past or future. Only now. Only breath. Only warmth. Sleep is our way of remembering what it means to simply exist. To just be. No proving, no planning, no pretending. You call it doing nothing, but to us, it's the most honest thing we do. The world would feel softer if humans learned to rest like cats, to stretch before sleeping, to trust the silence between sounds, to close your eyes, not because you're tired, but because you're ready to listen to the world in a quieter way. That's what sleep is for, listening with your whole being, hearing what you can't when you're awake. And maybe, if you learn to rest without guilt, you'll start waking up without fear. You know what I love most about sleep? It's not the comfort, or the dreams, or even the warmth of a soft blanket. It's the moment just before it begins. That soft surrender, the breath that deepens, the muscles that release, the feeling of trust that spreads through every part of you. Humans call it falling asleep. And maybe that's the most accurate thing you've ever named, because it is a kind of falling. A fall without fear. A fall you choose. A fall you trust. When I close my eyes, I don't fall away from the world. I fall into it, into its quiet rhythm, into its unspoken heartbeat, into the knowing that I don't need to do anything to belong. That's why cats sleep so deeply, because when we rest, we surrender completely. No half measures, no hesitation, just trust, pure and unguarded. Trust is rare in the human world. You build walls around your hearts. You plan for safety, prepare for loss, and call it being careful. But in doing so, you forget the simplest truth. Rest is the highest form of trust. When I close my eyes, I don't fall away from the world. I fall into it, into its quiet rhythm, into its unspoken heartbeat, into the knowing that I don't need to do anything to belong. That's why cats sleep so deeply, because when we rest, we surrender completely. No half measures, no hesitation, just trust, pure and unguarded. Trust is rare in the human world. You build walls around your hearts. You plan for safety, prepare for loss, and call it being careful. But in doing so, you forget the simplest truth. Rest is the highest form of trust. When I sleep beside you, I'm saying, I believe this moment will hold me. I'm saying, I am safe enough to let go. You can't rest when you're guarding everything. You can't dream when you're trying to control what happens next. To rest is to risk, to let life carry you, like a leaf floating downstream. But humans don't float easily. You cling to the shore, afraid of the current, afraid of not knowing where it leads. Cats, we don't fight the current. We drift. We trust that the river knows the way home. When you see me sleeping, you might think I'm doing nothing, but inside, I'm returning. Every nap is a small homecoming. Every dream a doorway back to something softer. Maybe that's what you need too. A return, not to a place, but to a pace. A slower, gentler rhythm that reminds you you're part of something larger than your plans. Rest is not escape, it's remembering. Remembering that you are more than what you produce. That being alive isn't about constant doing. It's about noticing the warmth of sunlight, the way air moves through a quiet room, the sound of your own breath when the world finally stops talking. When I sleep, I dream of still places, of windows open to the wind, of soft footsteps that never rush, of silence that doesn't feel empty but full. I think the world inside dreams is the world as it's meant to be. Slow, kind, weightless. Sometimes, I wish humans could see how beautiful you look when you sleep. You look softer. You stop pretending. Your face relaxes into truth. You become who you are underneath everything you try to be. And that's the version of you I love most, the one that finally rests. Cats sleep because we know what you forget, that you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't bloom without winter. Rest is not wasted time, it's preparation for grace. When you wake after deep rest, notice how the world feels different. Colors feel warmer. Sounds feel clearer. It's not that the world changed, it's that you finally slowed down enough to meet it. That's what sleep gives you. It brings the world back into focus. Maybe that's why I nap so much. Not to escape reality, but to stay in tune with it. To stay soft. To stay awake to wonder. When you rush through days, you lose that sensitivity. You stop hearing the whisper of leaves, the hum of your own thoughts, the tiny heartbeat of peace that lives underneath the noise. But when you rest, really rest, you hear it again. The world becomes gentle, and gentleness becomes enough. I wish you could see the sacredness in small naps. The 5 minutes where you close your eyes in the afternoon. The hour you allow yourself to do nothing. The deep, quiet breath before sleep finds you. Those aren't interruptions. They're moments of renewal. Moments that remind you that existing is already enough. We cats never feel guilty for sleeping. Because we understand balance. We hunt, we play, we rest. We never try to be awake all the time, because even the moon knows it must disappear to shine again. You too need darkness to rest, silence to heal, and stillness to remember who you are. The world won't stop if you do. It will wait. It always does. So tonight, when you lie down and close your eyes, don't think of rest as leaving the world. Think of it as joining it. Joining the quiet chorus that hums beneath everything that moves. The same song the wind sings through the trees. The same rhythm the ocean keeps in its tides. The same calm that fills the spaces between heartbeats. That's where peace lives. In the spaces between. In the pauses. In the gentle exhale that says, I'm safe now. If I could give humans one gift, it would be the cat's ability to rest without apology, to find pride in peace, to understand that silence isn't absence, it's the beginning of everything true. So when you see me curled up in the sunlight tomorrow, don't call me lazy, call me wise. Because I know something you've forgotten. That rest isn't a luxury, it's a language, and the world speaks it fluently. Sleep isn't the end of the day, it's the softest way of saying, I'm still here, I'm just listening.